Okay, hi everyone. It's Lise from sourceenergyradio.com. That was created by Trey Black in May 2009. So welcome everyone on the call. We have a wonderful guest speaker tonight, Tom.
It's Murasso,
huh? Tom is an author and life coach, and he has a website which is borntomanifest.com. And we have our lovely Nina on the call as always. So hi, Nina.
Hi. I'll drop off in a little while. I need to see if I can get some better connection, but I'm here.
Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to open everyone's microphone tonight because both Nina and I are having a little trouble with our internet. Nina, did you want to say anything before we go?
Yeah, I just wanted to say welcome, Tom. I've known Tom for a while. We've come the road together as friends, and he's one amazing person. Tom has a depth of character and a depth of knowledge that doesn't necessarily come out on his Facebook page and in the communication he has with people. And I think the best way to get to know Tom is to talk to him and to listen to him. You guys are going to find out exactly the same for yourselves tonight. Thank you.
Okay, well, Tom, welcome, and thank you for being our special guest tonight on sourceenergyradio.com. So we're looking forward to hear all of it and how it all began for you and where you're at now. So I'm going to hand the microphone over to you, and I'm going to be quiet for a little bit. So
okay.
Thank you, Tom.
Well, first of all, thank you for having me, and I know we're having a little bit of internet connections here. I just think there's a lot of energy on the phone, maybe.
Yeah, that could be true.
Again, thanks so much. Yeah, basically my story is it's a pretty simple one. When I was at a very young age, maybe early teens, 13, 14, I really started to question things, and I think a lot of people do, and some people don't follow up on it, and they just kind of say, oh, it's the mystery of the universe and all that. But I was always wondering, what's the purpose of all of this? Why are we here? What are we doing? I mean, it's just, is the purpose of life just to, get a job and get married and raise a family and then die? So I started searching for answers. The first thing that caught my attention, let's say, is astrology. I started researching astrology and learning about it, and I pretty much got into it just to see why I felt so different. And I'd say, oh, okay, so I'm born in this month, and these are tendencies for this sign, and and my best friend is born in this month, and that's why he's like this. And, so it was kind of that kind of thing. And I learned how to do charts. It still wasn't giving me any answers, but I saw that there was something that was operating in the universe that isn't like on the evening news every day. It's not taught in schools. It's not taught in churches or synagogues. And I saw that there were some mysteries. That kind of sparked me. So I was visiting some friends, and lo and behold, and, I've later come to understand that there's no coincidences or things like that happen, but lo and behold, the bedroom that I was asked to sleep in has a book over on the nightstand, and it's called Edgar Cayce on Reincarnation. And so I started reading this, and I really knew nothing about reincarnation. I mean, this was really foreign to me. I started reading this, and I don't know if you've read Edgar Cayce, but it's not like a real simple verbiage that's used. You really have to read it and then read it again until you can kind of get the gist of it. But anyway, this started opening up my awareness even more. I started to see and understand why certain things, why it might be some people are not as fortunate as others, and why somebody would be born blind. And so I got deeply involved in Edgar Cayce's books. And for those of you that don't know about his work, he was a psychic that lived in the early part of the century, and he would channel, for lack of a better term, his higher self, he wouldn't remember anything that he said while he was in this trance, but he was giving amazing healing readings for people. They didn't even have to be in the room. He just had to know their location and their name, and he would be able to tune into the body, find out whatever their malady was, and suggest remedies, and more often than not, they were natural remedies. So this was fascinating what this man was doing. And he was this very simple man, didn't know anything, right? He was from Kentucky, I believe. So anyway, somebody started asking him other questions. And I believe it was in one of the healing readings where he mentioned the fact that the malady that this person had was from he called it sojourn, which would be a lifetime in Atlantis. So folks that were interested in his work at the time thought, hey, maybe he can give us some information. I mean, Atlantis, this is myth and mythology, and Plato had talked about it. But so they started asking him questions about the ancient past, and these became known as life readings. Now we're starting to get some interesting answers. True or false, who knows? But it was exciting to me to read this stuff. This was stuff that you couldn't find anywhere. This was so foreign from everyday life for me, and I was just so charged and excited about it. I just became an addict for information. I started getting all sorts of books, and I studied the numerology and the esoteric arts, and here again, the law of attraction in operation. I'd walk into a bookstore, and there would be like a book that would be on the floor, or it'd be out of place or something, and I'd pick it up, and that just seemed to be the book that I needed then. So here it is, 40-some-odd years later, years and years of research where I've kind of developed my own theory, my own beliefs about who we are and what we're doing here. So I got my answers, at least that satisfied me. And I made it a mission to share the information with folks. So that's why I write the books. That's why I do the life coaching. And that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Oh, you're funny. Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Yeah, that book of yours, I think most of the people here have read it, and if they haven't, they should go to your website. Just give me your website again. BornToManifest.com. Yep.
Yep.
And download it. It's really worth reading. What led you to writing that book? How long did it take you, Tom?
Okay, I think you're referring to the manuscript, Awakening into Oneness.
Yes, I am. Yeah, the big one. Yeah.
That, Nina, is pretty much the culmination of all my research over those 40-some-odd years. And it gives a history of humanity coming into the planet as spirits, taking up physicality, and through ancient times, the contrast that we know as good and evil, and moving through modern society and the chaos and dysfunction that we observe here, all the way through 2012 and beyond. And so that's the culmination of all that research that I did. And it brings in astrology and numerology and reincarnation and what is reality and the law of attraction, which I prefer to call conscious creation. But that was the last book that I wrote. The first one was Born to Manifest, which, because I had researched quite a bit about the law of attraction or conscious creation, when I was researching it was called New Thought back then, or Mind Power. And I kind of shelved it. I understood deep down that whatever we'd focus on more than likely would appear in our life some way. And I used to joke that, you always get your wish. And so be careful what you wish for. That's that old saying, it's very true. If I had a friend that was saying, I'm scared of spiders, I said, well, you don't want to think about it because sure enough there's going to be one that's showing up. So that's where I was with the law of attraction back then. And then The Secret came out, the movie, and I saw it, and it kind of made it all gel because other people were experiencing and talking about it as well. Unfortunately, the movie didn't seem to give you much how-to. And I understand the how-to isn't a really big deal, but for people that don't know how it works and don't understand it, I felt there was a need for some kind of a guidebook for folks that wanted to deliberately use the attraction powers of the universe. So that's why I wrote Born to Manifest. It's a manual. It's about maybe 150 pages, like a guide-to book, how-to with the law of attraction tools and techniques, where the manuscript brings that whole simplified version to a whole nother level because it adds additional elements to it. And those elements being, we are spirits having a physical experience. And so coming from that place and identifying with that part of us makes the manifestation work so much easier because we understand how that physical part of us, that ego part of us, stands in the way of creating what we want.
Now, I don't know about the other guys. I'm sure you've got questions, but I've got him now, so I'm going to keep him now for a little while. And I'm sure that the questions that I'm going to ask are going to be some of yours. So if you don't mind, Tom, next question. How does astrology and the law of attraction fit together? Because these things exist, obviously, in law. And how do you fit the two together?
The way that I see it is that the planets energetically stand for certain things in our lives, where the moon is emotions, Mars is our energy, Jupiter is our expansion. And as spirits having a physical experience, my belief, here again, is that in between lives, we decide which configuration of planets we would like to experience to give us certain opportunities and challenges in our life that we want to experience. It's not like somebody or something is forcing us to be born a certain sign with the sun in this sign and the moon in this sign and, the big horoscope chart. It's that we make the choice of what time to be born, where to be born, and the planets are in a certain configuration to give us the opportunity and challenges that we want to experience. Now, there's always a positive and negative. There's always a choice on this planet of duality. So each planet has a positive, or what we would say positive side, or negative side. And, of course, when you use those terms, that's your perception. But typically there's a positive side and a negative side to each planet. And I liken it to that these are the planets in the signs and aspects that I came into this incarnation with. And it's almost like this is the tools in my toolbox. Now, I can use those influences because it's all about you, or it's all about me in this sense, and I have the choice to use those tools in a positive way or a negative way. Hopefully, people get to the awareness where they are using everything in a positive way, for the benefit of all.
Yeah, astrology is something we choose and we use, and the law of attraction is just something in the background that sort of orchestrates everything. Does that make sense? Yeah,
and it even goes a little further than that because, the law of attraction, we intend what we want. The biggest hang-up with that is getting out of the way and letting it come to you.
Okay, makes sense. A lot of stuff. Also, I don't think if you mentioned it, we mentioned that you're a hypnotist? I don't think so?
Right. Hypnotherapy, I got so involved with the power of the mind in my research, and I was so fascinated with reincarnation, I became a hypnotherapist that I could help people release blocks, for one thing, and reprogram it's almost like we have this software that is downloaded as we grow up And that software is belief systems.